Okay, so imagine this. You're just going about your day, maybe, I don't know, tending your garden, petting your cat. Maybe you're just a friendly person. But any of those things, those totally normal things, could suddenly be used as proof. Proof against you. A world where just living your life could get you into serious trouble.
It's a really chilling thought, isn't it? How fear can just warp everyday reality like that.
And that's exactly what we're diving into today. This deep dive is all about those, frankly, absurd and often tragic superstitions around witchcraft accusations, specifically back in the Middle Ages.
Yeah, the goal here is really to show you how completely harmless behaviors, things people did every single day, got twisted.
Twisted into proof of witchcraft. We want to unpack the sheer paranoia of the time and, well, the devastating results. You see how ordinary life itself just became this
It
minefield.
really highlights how perception wasn't just coloring reality back then. It totally replaced it in many cases.
And some of the details we're going to get into are just wild. We're talking like how a pope's ruling on cats, of all things, might have actually made a plague worse,
Oh, yeah.
or what the word sinister really meant, and why even just muttering to yourself could be a massive red flag.
It's a pretty stark look at what happens when societal fear really takes hold.
So let's just jump in. One of the maybe surprising targets for suspicion was the humble cat,
Right.
especially black cats.
Absolutely. Creatures many of us love today were seen as, well, genuinely evil, agents of darkness.
How did that even happen? How did cats get such a bad rap?
Well, a really key belief was the idea of the familiar.
Yeah.
These were supposedly animal sidekicks given to witches by demons or the devil.
Right, familiars.
So simply feeding a stray cat, talking to your own pet cat, even just having one around the house,
Yeah.
that could be interpreted as, like, actively working with dark forces.
And it wasn't just folklore, was it? I mean, were there official things that sort of cemented this idea?
Oh, yes. Remarkably, there was an actual papal decree. Pope Gregory the X, back in 1233, issued something called Vox in Rama.
Fox and Rama?
Yeah, and it pretty much directly condemned cats, particularly black ones, linking them straight to devil worship. This fueled mass killings of cats across Europe.
Wow.
And the tragic irony when you look at the bigger picture, drastically reducing the cat population meant the rat population exploded.
Oh, right, because cats hunt rats.
Exactly. And the rats carry the fleas infected with Yersinia pestis, the plague bacterium. So killing the cats likely made the Black Death significantly worse when it hit.
So trying to stamp out perceived evil actually helps subvert a real-world catastrophe. That's deeply ironic.
It really is.
Okay, so from pets to plants, what about something like herbal knowledge? Knowing about healing plants seems totally positive.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But back then, being good with herbs could make you incredibly suspect. Well, if your remedy actually worked well, that wasn't necessarily seen as good medicine. It could be viewed as proof you had some kind of supernatural help. A pact,
So success was suspicious.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Common plants we use today, think chamomile, valerian, maybe even mandrake root. They all had these mystical associations. So knowing how to use them effectively, it blurred the line.
Blurred the line with magic.
Exactly. It shows how knowledge itself, especially knowledge outside the sort of approved channels like the church or university-trained physicians, could be dangerous. Expertise became suspect.
So that little herbal guide you kept by your bedside, that could be labeled a spell book, a grimoire.
That's precisely the risk. Just having or seeking that kind of knowledge could be enough to raise serious questions.
All right, let's talk about something physical. Left-handedness. I know this one comes up a lot, but it still baffles me.
It really underscores how easily physical differences were demonized, doesn't it? Anything seen as not normal. The Latin word for left is sinister. And that word, well, it literally evolved into our English word for evil or menacing.
Right. Sinister.
So medieval culture often saw left-handedness as unnatural, a deviation, and therefore somehow linked to the devil or deception. It was believed so strongly that parents would sometimes, physically restrain their children's left hands, try to force them to use the right.
Just wow. Forcing them to change their dominant hand. It makes you think, what other little quirks could be dangerous? What about people who talk to themselves or even just talk to their pets?
Well, think about life back then.
Right.
Small, often quiet, rural communities, close quarters.
Okay.
Hearing someone muttering or whispering, especially if you couldn't quite make out the words, it was easy to interpret that as someone casting a spell, incantations.
Ah, right. Not just thinking out loud.
Exactly. And talking to animals especially. Yes, cats again could easily be seen as giving instructions to your familiar, your demonic helper.
There was just no privacy, was there? Even your own thoughts weren't safe if you accidentally voiced them.
Pretty much. Your inner monologue wasn't really considered your own private space if someone overheard it.
It sounds like a total catch-22. Like, being popular could be bad, but being a loner was also bad.
That's the awful paradox, isn't it? Have too many friends, be too charismatic. You must be using enchantments, charming people unnaturally.
Okay.
But prefer your own company. Keep to yourself. Well, then you're obviously a recluse, probably huddled away plotting curses against your neighbors.
So damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Absolutely. Even things like festivals were tricky. If you danced really well, with lots of energy, maybe that was supernatural energy, sorcery.
You're kidding. Dancing well.
Not kidding. But if you didn't dance much, or seemed aloof, well, maybe you were standing apart because you were focusing on cursing people. There was no winning.
You literally couldn't dance your way out of trouble. It's just, how could anyone navigate daily life? Okay, what about midwives? They were crucial figures in the community, right?
Hugely important, yes. But their position was incredibly vulnerable.
Why them specifically?
Well, they dealt with childbirth, life and death situations. Any complications, a stillbirth, even sometimes an unusually easy birth, could lead to accusations.
Because it was mysterious, maybe.
Partly. And their herbal knowledge, which was essential for pain relief or helping labor, well, we just talked about herbs, that knowledge easily overlapped with what people thought witches used, witches' brews.
Ah, the herbal connection again.
Yes. Plus, midwives knew everyone's business. They knew family secrets, weaknesses. That knowledge could breed resentment or fear. Accusations often came from jealousy or local rivalries, just using the witchcraft fear as a weapon against the midwife.
So their essential skills and intimate community knowledge actually made them targets.
Tragically, yes. It twisted their vital work into something sinister.
It feels like every single aspect of life was just loaded with potential danger. Even the weather wasn't safe, was it?
Not at all. Bad weather was a classic scapegoat. Droughts, floods, destructive storms, frequently blamed on witches.
How? Did they think witches controlled the weather?
In very specific ways sometimes. There were beliefs about witches milking storm clouds to cause hail or raising winds by stirring water, things like that.
Milking clouds. Okay.
And here's another irony. Imagine there's a widespread drought or blight, but your garden is somehow thriving. You'd think that's a blessing, right?
Yeah, you'd be relieved. Lucky.
But in that paranoid atmosphere,
Yeah.
a thriving garden amidst general failure wasn't seen as luck. It was seen as suspicious, incriminating, proof that you must be using dark magic to steal fertility from your neighbor's land or protect your own unnaturally.
So even success, even good fortune could condemn you.
It really shows how deep the fear ran. Even nature's bounty could be twisted into evidence of evil.
It's just a profoundly disturbing picture of how paranoia can completely take over. So when we pull back and look at all this, what's the main takeaway?
I think the sources really point to this idea of a self-sustaining paranoia loop. That's the term that seemed to fit best.
Self-sustaining paranoia loop, meaning
Meaning, once suspicion fell on someone, basically anything they did or didn't do could be twisted around to confirm their guilt. Action, inaction, it didn't matter. It all fed back into the suspicion.
so escaping it was almost impossible.
Pretty much. It meant that just getting through the day, your survival, depended less on facts or logic or truth, and almost entirely on how other people perceived you through this lens of fear.
That's the really chilling part, isn't it? Perception trumping reality. What you actually did became almost irrelevant next to what people thought you did.
Exactly. The truth just got lost in the noise of fear. It's a really powerful reminder, I think, of how potent societal fear can be, how quickly normal things, innocent traits, can be turned into something monstrous when that fear takes root.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? You know how easily, maybe even today, misunderstanding or fear can warp ordinary situations into something menacing. And what kind of vigilance does it take for all of us to stop those patterns from repeating? You know, what does it really mean when perception just completely overrides reality? And how might that lesson echo way beyond medieval history?